Hey everybody, Mike Wood here from WildUtahEdibles.com. Thanks for joining me for another video. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about the mullein plant and the benefits of the mullein plant. And I'm actually going to show you how to make, well, two things from the mullein. We're going to show you how to use the leaves for breathing to help with asthma issues. And we're going to show you how to make a cough syrup out of the flowers. So stick around, come join me on this adventure. So I started the other day pulling off some of these flowers, and in the morning, which is the best time to pull these flowers off, they come off and they're pretty open and big, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But then later on, cover my head here, later on during the day they shrink up, and so what you see in the jar here, if we look at this one, that's a fresh flower there, and then the jar is all dried up flowers. And I just remembered also, when you're picking these, we don't want to put them straight into the jar because they'll have little tiny beetles and bugs on them. And so it's best to put them on a plate. So I'll have my trusty servant go get me a plate to put these on, and we'll show you how to fill the jar later. Pick the flowers mid-morning when they are open and easy to pull off the plant. If it has rained, then you might want to dry them a bit longer in the sun. You don't want any excess water in your syrup. It's not going to hurt to have the regular moisture from the plant, but we don't want large amounts of water or dew or raindrops or anything like that on the plant. So preferably gather them on a fairly dry day, but before the sun has come out and shrunk them all and shriveled them all up. We're going to just fill the plate up with some of these, or you can put them in a tray or a bag or a box, whatever you want to do to harvest those. And then we're going to let them sit in the sun for half an hour to an hour and let all those bugs fly away. And they fly away pretty fast. So we don't need the jars right now. You can go set those over there and then come help me pull some flowers. Now, I told you we're going to talk about using the leaves as well. And I found an interesting use for these the other day that I will help my daughter with here. But if you step on that, then you can not have to step in the mud. And you can get close to these and start pulling the flower. Pinch that right there, the whole flower, and just pull. Comes right off. And then we'll just fill this plate up with a bunch of those. Now, I might link the original video, if I can find it, for the gal that did this and showed making syrup. You don't want to pull all the flowers off because we want to leave some of these to pollinate and to go to seed so that we can have seeds for next year's flowers. But what she does is she fills the jar with flowers and layers of sugar. Now, I don't do sugar. I don't do heavily processed sugar. I'll do natural sugars. And so we're going to use honey. And since we're using honey, I'm not too concerned about layering it. So we'll show you that when we get done drying these. We just need to pull a bunch of them off. When you see the little ones that are like folded like that and ready to fall off, those are still good. Go ahead and grab those too. Like these right here. See how those will just fall right off in your hand. One interesting thing I noticed with the mullein plant is the way these leaves, there's so many of them, and the way they come out down here, you'll catch a lot of these nice yellow flowers just falling into the leaf there, and we can just pick them up and save those. You'll see that all through in there where they're just kind of collecting. So it makes it easy to collect some of those that have already fallen off too. So Brenna, tell us a little bit about what you do with mullein. Why do you like mullein?
Because when you breathe the steam from it, it helps you breathe when you have asthma.
So she doesn't have extreme asthma, but she has allergy-induced asthma, and so sometimes, careful with that, don't dump it. Sometimes, especially at night, she'll start coughing, and her her throat starts to close up, and she has a hard time. I guess it's not her throat, what, her trachea, and she has a hard time breathing. And so we just take some of these leaves, and I'll probably make these available on the website wildutahedibles.com if you don't have access to them. You just take a section of leaf about that big and put it in a pot of water and boil it, bring it to a boil or simmer, and as long as you've got steam coming off of it, you can breathe that steam and it helps open that up. Does it?
Yes.
It actually does work, doesn't it? And that has just been a wonderful thing for our daughter, and we've really enjoyed having this plant and having it available to help her breathe so she's not crying and struggling at night because she's not able to get air. And so that's another thing that has been really beneficial about this plant. If you've got small leaves that you're harvesting, you can just take a whole leaf like that, put that in the pot, and that's really all you need. And so if you just dry those and save those throughout the year, then you've got leaves to last you for a long time. So I'll show you a close-up of this, see if we can see some of those bugs, but we're going to let this sit out so the bugs will fly away and get rid of it. And then ultimately what we're planning on doing is we're going to put it in this jar and fill it up as far as we can and then cover that with honey. And then after a few weeks in the window, letting that kind of settle, we're going to strain it into this jar, and this will be our syrup. Now we're going to add some honey. Since I'm going to use a lot of honey for this, I'm just going to take that cap all the way off. And what I'm going for is just to fill that up enough to be able to cover the flowers. And basically we're going to let that sit for about 3 weeks in the sun in the windowsill. Put the lid on it, stick it in the sunshine, and leave it there for a few weeks. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. Please like and subscribe to the channel and share it with somebody who can use this information. Don't forget to check out my website and Facebook page, wildutahedibles.com and Wild Utah Edibles on Facebook and Instagram, as well as here on YouTube.